surface area. First, we got to just figure out some things about area. And from that formula sheet, you should see that the area of a rectangle, we've used this before, I'm going to put a little rectangle there, is equal to the length times width. And in this case, our length is 13, our width is 7. If you wanted to say it the other way around, 7 and 13, it doesn't matter either. But inches. So I'm going length times width. So I'm going to go with the 13. I'm going to put IN for inches, and only because when they square it looks better. 7. IN. Use a calculator for that. The multiplication is easy. You got 91. What's important though is that's inches squared. That's how much area you've got inside the box. Either paint it or whatever you need to know. If it's a larger thing for a living room, for carpet or something. Now, good with this one? The area of a triangle is equal to 1/2 the base times the height. Now, just because this base is actually at the top, you can imagine flipping that upside down, right? And then it would just be like this. Same thing. The base happens to be 5 feet, and the height happens to be 5 feet by coincidence. So 1/2, 5 feet, 5 feet. So that's 25 divided by 2, without a calculator. You can use a calculator. 12.5 feet squared. Now, the circle is the one where you get area is equal to, it says pi r squared. But this pi value, if you don't have a pi button on your calculator, use 3.14. That's just fine. And that's going to be, in this case, there's a circle, 3.14 times the meters, 3 meters, squared. Do you remember what a square is? Times itself. So that's really 3.14 times 3 times 3 again. Or use a square button if you have one on your calculator. It saves you some keystrokes. But that's 28.26. That's the area of that circle. Those are the basic shapes. And of course, your formula sheet has a whole pile of others. I'll just run through the problems a little bit here. But creating a budget for a renovation project. You need to calculate how much paint to buy for the walls of a classroom. You have the length. You have the width, 25 feet wide. 10-foot high ceiling. Now, that is misleading in a way because you've got 4 walls in a classroom, and I guess they're not worried about windows and doors for the approximation. Think of this, if the classroom's 32 feet long, 32 feet, it's 10-foot high ceiling, meaning that it's 10 feet this way, up. Now that, you're going to have 2 walls looking at my classroom. This wall is the 32 feet, and then the other one. You have to find this area twice. And then the other one, the short 25 feet, that's that wall plus that wall. 25 feet, 10 feet high, up and down. You're going to find those 2 areas and double them. You got the total area of the classroom's walls. then you know how much area you need to paint. Once you do that, you're going to say, well, 1 liter of paint is to 12 meters squared. Oh, good gravy, I hate that. You have to change all of those to meters first. That tells us. So, convert to meters. Using the previous section, right? Convert everything to meters. And then find those areas in meters squared. Then you can use this paint calculation. Okay? Now, the other stuff that you're going to do, well, I'll just tell you about this quickly here, and then we'll stop it. The total area of the surface of a three-dimensional object is called the surface area. We'll be finding those in the other one. The two-dimensional pattern used to create a 3D shape, I just call them a net, but I just call it a net. If you fold it up, or whatever there, we're going to call it a net. The ratio of the lengths corresponding to the sides of the two polygons is the conversion factor. Scale factor. Scale. Sorry. You'll be given scales. It's a 1:2 ratio and so on. Yeah. That should be good. You should be able to answer these questions. And then there's 2 other sections within here I've broken it up into, okay? So I'm going to stop the recording.